Hey, everybody, we're live with Ted Kubaitis. He is the founder and CEO of SEO Tool Lab. He's also the host of SEO Fight Club on Tuesdays on YouTube, which is a never miss event for me. He is the most knowledgeable e-commerce SEO I know. And it's a pleasure to have him with me on the Organic Traffic Podcast. Ted, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, thanks for making time because I know it's a big week, right? There's been a lot of changes.
Well, Google promised big changes, and it looks like Google's delivering big changes. So, yeah, it's keeping us on our toes.
Yeah. So what's going on? There's something about rendering and how it's forced a lot of tools like yours to update.
Yeah, so there are two changes so far that impact SEO. The first one is Google requires JavaScript to be enabled in order to view the search results. And that basically forced all SEO tools to start using headless Chrome at the same time. And that's a little spooky because that's a way of segmenting traffic, because either through a bit being sent that the traffic is headless or browser capabilities detection, you'll be able to know which traffic is bot traffic versus human. And so for SEO work, we've typically needed to blend in with the human traffic. So that's a big change. It's a little worrisome. We'll see how it pans out. It might be no issue at all, but it could be a big issue as well. And it did make most SEO tools that work with search results a lot slower because now they have to render a page to get those. The other big change is
render a page. What is rendering a page?
Well, normally the SEO tools that interact with search results, they would get what's known as the raw HTML, and the results would be in that HTML. So they'd get a text document, parse it, and they're good. Now these tools have to download the raw HTML, see all the files that the raw HTML references, like style sheets and JavaScript and images and fonts and web service API calls and things of that nature, and all of those need to be executed before they can get the search results to work with. And
Meaning,
all of that,
before they can look at the source, the HTML source, they have to load the visual page in a browser.
yeah.
And so
that takes a lot of that takes a lot of time and resources, and it's about 300% slower. So you can and it's more expensive. A lot of the tools are built on third-party APIs that handle this for them. And because it's slower and more resource intensive, you can probably expect those APIs to go up by like 20-25% this year. And that means that your SEO tools will probably become more expensive downstream.
And what is headless Chrome?
Headless Chrome was originally designed so that website operators who wanted to talk about web pages could get a thumbnail of what the page looks like. So it was kind of engineered to be a thumbnail generation thing. And so it's designed to work on a system that doesn't have a monitor, that doesn't have a graphics card. It can be run from a command prompt, so it could run on a remote server. And that made it very convenient for doing simple page rendering, because it would have to at least render the page to the document ready event. That's a technical label for when JavaScript can start execution. because you need that document ready to at least get the initial image of what the page looks like, all the laid out graphics and size text and stuff like that. And so we call that a time equals zero render. And while it is a rendering is a function of time, and Googlebot is actually capturing the HTML at 4 seconds after document ready. And 4 seconds is a lot of time for JavaScript to change things. And so, yeah, the headless Chrome, it's an okay solution. It's not a great solution, and it became worse when everybody switched over to doing it.
And so this is basically a way for them to distinguish bot traffic from human traffic.
Potentially. I mean, there could be other reasons they're doing it, like they could have something very expensive they want to deploy, and they only want humans to see the expensive new features, not all the SEO tools and bots. So it could be that they're not intending to harm the SEO industry. That could just be a an amusing bonus to launching something expensive.
Yeah. And as we've seen, I mean, there have been so many changes to search engine results pages over the last few months, particularly with the introduction of these artificial intelligence snippets that summarize a wide swath of content from online. And it was actually you that said to me, you know, we're coming to a place where we could essentially rank number one and get no traffic.
Yeah, there are keywords now where the first organic result is below the fold, and that's effectively page 2. So there are keywords out there that probably aren't worth targeting anymore if they're pushed way below the fold.
And what is Google putting above them?
All kinds of things. The Google search result page is what they call a universal search. Back in the day, it was a meta search because it was blended. It's multiple search engine result sets being blended together. And you'll see ad search and product search, and people also ask, and local packs, and all kinds of things. Merchant center product feeds, all kinds of different search engine results that are above the organic.
And of course, since organic is just a subset of those, and that's what SEOs focus on, there's something else determining the order of the products in these other displays, right? These
Yeah. So now you have two rankings to consider. You have where do you rank organically, and then where does organic rank among all the search options that are being displayed.
And how do you compete? I mean, we know if it's a sponsored products, you got to buy those. But you know,
Yeah.
there's also this new recommended products, which we don't really know how they're ranking those results. Is it just people who have the best advanced schema, or what is it?
On that particular block, I haven't had a chance to take a deep dive on it yet. But yeah, it's a really big problem. Historically, people wanted to try for organic, and now you have to see if organic is viable for the keyword before you attempt to rank it. So you have to see if the keyword's too hard, and now you have to see if the keyword is also eligible for decent organic traffic, because not all keywords are, especially e-com keywords, because the organic gets pushed down so far. And in some cases, a keyword might be viable, but only if you're the number one result, or only if you're in the top 2.
What's your thought on informational keywords? Are they viable for e-commerce, or are they waste of time?
Not really. There are a few things about e-com that can be weird, and these behaviors can change whether it's small cart size versus high-end cart size. But typically you'll find people that are shopping and they trust the first organic results. Then you find people who are shopping who know that the ads give shopping results. You find people who are shopping, if they see an ad and an organic, they'll be nice and click the organic. And then we have what we call spike clickers, who see the ad and the organic but feel you should pay for their business, and they click on the ad just because. And nobody minds spike clickers. I'll happily pay 22 cents to get your business. But it is a thing there. You never know about the impulses and the feelings people have when it comes to online shopping. And that's why it's important to have multiple personas in your marketing strategy, because you will have impulse buyers, you will have tire clickers, or tire kickers, sorry, you will have spike clickers.
I think I have to put a pin in that one. Tire clickers.
Yeah, tire clickers. So there you go. Nice little mashup there.
Let's just sort of. I want to take it up 40,000 feet, looking down. For those listeners who may not be SEOs, maybe they're owners of e-commerce stores, and they're just kind of waking up to organic traffic. They're trying to kind of get more of that. The one question I get all the time, I'm sure you've answered it a million times too, is, what are the best keywords to target for my online store? And, obviously, it's not an easy question to answer, but I want to hear you actually take a stab at that.
Well, it really is the most important question in SEO, because if the targeting is wrong, the SEO is wrong by extension. So you really need to put a lot of time and effort, even though it often feels silly or unnecessary or nitpicky. And I'll start with a names of things audit, and it's such an easy piece of work to do, but it can often be so impactful. You look at the links and the navigation, and you find out, are those links actually for a search term with traffic? If you have a gifts and delights category, how many people search for gifts and delights? What the heck is a delight? These are mysteries, but I guarantee gifts and delights is a 0 volume keyword. So even if you win it, you've won nothing. But if you change that category to unique gift ideas, now you have a search term with volume that's worth winning. So at least you're in a game that has a prize versus being in a game that has no prize. And so if you go through all of your navigation, all of your categories, all of your product names, and make sure they're all named something that has search volume that accurately describes what it is. And so if you're an online retailer and you've said, well, we're artisan and we're fancy, so I've named my product the majestic orange, the majestic sunrise snuffler, 0 search volume, nobody's going to find that organically. You call it an orange silk scarf, people find it. Ambiently findable. So
let me stop you for a second, because great advice. But some people may search what was the term, orange silk scarf, but they might also search silk scarf orange. They might search orange silk scarves. There's almost a cluster of terms surrounding silk scarf.
And if you go to Google Trends and let the cluster members compete, you will find the one with the most volume that should probably lead the charge.
But then you would also go after the other ones too, right? It would, like, maybe you'd target one for a page, but then you would also try to get the rest of the cluster on that page as well, right?
Yeah. And why not just do something like put a little tag cloud widget on the page, and put the other variants and typos and stuff in it and just say, similar to, and have the word cloud, put it way down by the footer. Boom. You got them all covered.
And I mean, a lot of times I think people get into analysis paralysis where they're so worried about nailing the perfect keyword. But in fact, there are a number of different keywords that are going to wind up selling orange silk scarves.
Yeah, and odds are, if you're a medium-sized retailer, you're probably going to have 20 different orange silk scarves. So you will be able to use all the different variants as individual names, most likely. Google will still probably filter it down to one or two that appear in search. But if you have a custom store, you could probably have your developers set it up so you're out of stocks for 10 and fall out of search, and your next available in stock for a keyword pops right into search. So you're always serving up in stock product and search results.
How did you learn e-commerce SEO? How did you get good at it?
I was a web developer for a large online retailer, and they saw that I was pretty good with the SEO type features. And so I took it over as a primary responsibility. And I ended up doing SEO for that retailer for almost 20 years. And did a lot of amazing things in that time. My claim to fame is I helped them grow from 5 million a year to 65 million a year with $40 average carts. So
Wow.
A lot of carts.
Wow. So high volume, low margin, high volume sales.
Yep.
And competing against Amazon and Etsy and all the big sites.
Yeah. And a lot of people feel like you can't compete against those pages. But if you look at the Amazon pages you're competing against, oftentimes they have 0 external backlinks. You can beat them with 25 backlinks. And I spent years being afraid to compete with Amazon. And then I finally mustered up the courage to do it, and it took 25 backlinks. Don't make my mistake.
And you were selling things like mugs and, general merchandise, right?
Yeah. 25,000 SKUs across 500 product categories. You could view it like a small Amazon.
Uh-huh. And did you find there were some niches where you couldn't compete against Amazon?
Well, I found some niches that were cost prohibitive. And so we have this running joke in my SEO circles about yoga pants, which was the white whale keyword I had in ecom. I could win them all, but I couldn't win yoga pants. And I was a commission-based SEO. And yoga pants, I came to realize that I could rank like 300 other keywords in the time it would take to rank yoga pants. And the 300 other keywords were just more valuable.
Why was yoga pants so hard?
It's largely filled up with massive brands and massive media channels. So magazines and influencers and all of this stuff. And so there's since the dawn of yoga pants, there's been a head start on all the link building and the optimization. And so when a keyword has a nonstop 10-year head start on link building, there's no 3-month SEO package that negates that. So some keywords have a reality. If you want to win them, you're going to have to invest big and invest over time. And if you're doing
curiosity on yoga pants, was Lululemon the winner?
I don't think they were. I think there were a couple magazines that were beating them. But I haven't checked recently. So
got it.
But they were near the top.
Let's switch over to content marketing for a second, because I think a lot of e-commerce stores, think that, well, if I have a blog, I can create content that will be relevant to the keywords that my customers are searching. I can answer questions they may have that are indicative of a future purchase, or questions that will help them choose my product. And so they create these blogs where they create content designed to get articles designed to get found through search, so that they can convert those people to customers. What are your thoughts about that? Is blogging important for e-commerce SEO?
It can be, but I feel like the strategy of how they execute that vision is often very flawed and ends up causing more harm. Most online retailers have a problem with unintended keyword cannibalization between their homepage and their categories and their product pages. And then they put in blog posts that also overlap the same keywords, and they create another dimension of cannibalization. What I like to do for ecom is think of the strategy in terms of multiple websites lending synergy. So if you're selling high-end poker tables, you would uh, make a blog about the rules of different poker games, and you'd advertise the tables there. And then you'd make a blog about professional poker tournaments and esports about poker and stuff. And you'd have that blog, and then you'd have a blog about man caves on a different domain, and that would be about the setting where the product is sold. And all of these things become synergy sites, and they help grow value. You have multiple marketing assets, you got free advertising, you can test out keywords, you can target keywords that the store couldn't otherwise normally target. And since they're on different domains, they're not cannibalizing each other, they rank side by side. And that's a big deal. And so, I would almost want to tell retailers, a blog's fine on a different domain. But odds are, I'd say 4 out of 5 retailers have a problem with their blog.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, here's an interesting question. So I'm working with a client that is a visitors bureau for a destination. And they have a page for all the hotels and resorts at their destination. And then they have individual pages for all the neighborhoods where they have hotels and resorts at their destination. And right now, if you search hotels and resorts at their destination, they're all cannibalizing each other. What would you say to someone like that who is, sort of stepping on themselves with the same keyword?
Well, if it's getting hard to differentiate, then you're gonna have to, kind of reduce your strategy to more guerrilla style tactics. And so I've seen a lot of the tour companies who kind of compete in the same space with people traveling to different destinations. They've figured out that if you get, outrageous videos, things talking about the best, street food, the most sought after tourist activities, you really get those things styled in with videos, that can lend itself to a ton of traffic, especially if those videos are hosted on your site and people have to go to your website to see them. So I'd probably recommend that they try to go multi-channel, because if all you're doing in that contest is just trying to win, San Francisco hotel, that's probably leaving a lot of money on the table.
Interesting. Yeah.
Especially if you're up to date on all of those, street level performances that are down on the pier. You know, if you got those and you're saying, hey, there's a new, Metallic Man act going on down on the pier, be sure you stop by and see what's going on.
Now, when you say host them on your site, you mean host them on your site or host them on YouTube and embed them on their site? Either
Yeah,
or.
you could do it a number of different ways, but ultimately it would be really nice if they were on your site and they could see your offers. So the videos and the offers should be hand in hand. I would be tempted to have one version of the video with inline ads for YouTube and another version of the video that's ad free, but with the offers below or above the video on the website pages. I do know that the YouTube video player is kind of a resource hog, so you might want to look at some other video players if you're putting it on your website.
Hey, before we wrap up here, you have this company, SEO Tool Labs, which makes this product called Cora, which stands for correlational analysis or something like that. And I mean, it absolutely produces a head-spinning Excel document that monitors so many different aspects of a website and potential search factors for the top 100 websites against a keyword. It's not something that you can use without getting some training. I mean, it's a very deep tool. What is the elevator pitch for that? Like, when someone comes up to you and says, "What is Cora and why should I check it out?" What do you say?
There's about 150,000 things you could tweak on a website. And so you're trying to figure out, what do we need to tweak on a website in order to make its rankings improve? Cora will use statistical analysis to figure out which things on your website and your competitor's website for a keyword appear to trend with rank position. So we will reduce the field of choices from 150,000 things you can try to figure out down to 2 or 3 dozen of the likely suspects. And then we'll tell you exactly how short you are in each one when compared to your higher ranking competitors. And in a nutshell, that's what we're doing. We're using tape measurements and baseball stats to give you very focused items to target.
And why don't more people get it? Like, I mean, for me, now that I've invested the time and I've learned how to use it, I would say if I had only one tool that I could use, it would be Cora. If everything else went away, that's the tool I would want. But I don't know how I would convince someone else of that. And you might, because it's your company.
Yeah, I'll tell you the thing I've observed. By and large, if you don't take the free training when you sign up, probably the very next thing you're going to do is unsubscribe. If you take the free training, you're probably going to end up saying Cora is going to be the last subscription you ever cancel. So that's the difference. So if you sign up, get the training, I'll save you all the headaches, I'll save you all the hassles, I'll show you how to get very fast results. It only takes an hour and a half to do the training. And so that's my recommendation. But you're right, if people are too smart to take the training, it's going to be a really hard go for them.
And if you're not in the market for a tool, but you just want to sort of learn some stuff about SEO, I would really recommend checking out SEO Fight Club, which is Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific time, US. It's funny, it draws a small group, maybe like 50, 60, 70 people every week. And it's the stuff that's shared on there is absolutely stuff you're not going to hear anywhere else. And it just blows me away that it's like the best kept secret in organic traffic and SEO.
Yeah, it does. It does creep up to about 100 views after a week and a half, or 600 views after a week and a half. But yeah, initially, first 48 hours, typically 100, 150 views. Uh, it's a labor of love. We do it because the community loves it, and so we'll keep doing it. And yeah,
And you have
check
a
it
new
out.
forum, right? Didn't you launch a forum?
Yeah. SEOfightclub.org. So if you have questions, if you want to ask me things, you can just join the forum. There's several dozen SEO experts on there now. We're just starting it up, so we'd love to have you there. So yeah, SEOfightclub.org.
Ted Kubaitis, founder and CEO of SEO Tool Lab and host of SEO Fight Club, Tuesdays on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us.